thermal sound wave.
Yeah, thermal sound waves, a natural alternative to fast food radio. We here, C.Truth, Kev Lawrence.
That's correct.
Right about now, it's our pleasure to bring you a woman who has done many things with the word, with the pen.
With the pen.
You know what I mean?
You know, the
in
pen is
all
mightier than
aspects,
sword.
whether it be like pen and paper, digital, typewriter, computer, data processor, all those means, and she's done it all.
She knows the difference between
indeed.
your, Y-O-U-R,
and listen,
you are.
She's written for
Possibly
so many different people. I'm going to name a couple just so y'all know. You know, so Rap Pages, The Source, Atlanta Black Star.
Wow.
Oprah Daily, BET, The Griot, Shadow League, Christian Science Monitor. The list goes on and on and on.
Oh, so she knows how to spell.
And she's done children books, so she's done things for the kids.
Oh, wow.
And she also does things on the comic world.
Really?
She's been a writer for Blockheads as well. But we're going to let our guest right now talk to us about some of those things. Miss Nikki Duncan Smith is joining us on the program right about now. How are you doing?
Yo, what's up? How y'all guys doing?
We are great. Oh, and I forgot to mention that she's from West Philadelphia, born and raised.
That's right.
On the playground where she spent most of her days?
Most of my days, yep.
Oh, my gosh.
Absolutely.
So she's the one that hit Charlie Mack over the head in the basketball on the court.
Wait. I grew up with Charlie Mack being down the street. So,
Time out. C.Truth, did you hear how she changed right there? How you guys doing? And I was like, wait, hold up, for real. For real, I grew up down that joint. For real. Like, whoa, okay, Philly.
You know what I mean? In fact, I'm so Philly. I actually grew up in the same church with Will Smith. Like, I went to church with Will Smith. His grandma was the willing worker, the youth missionary lead. Like, and also the Bible study teacher at one time. So, like, I grew up with them. And it was all of us had this big idea that hip hop was tangible. Unlike New York, Philly actually played hip hop during the day, right? Lady B was playing hip hop throughout on Sundays all day long. Like, you didn't have to wait till the middle of the night, right? So because hip hop was early on the radio, we were getting stuff mad early, right? I mean, my language is all mixed because I've lived in New York for about 27 years, but I'm still a Philly girl, right? And so while I went to church with Will Smith, I grew up with Steady B and Cool C and all of them.
Wow. You know what?
And my uncle,
Hilltop.
Big ups to
Hilltop Hustle all day.
Big ups
I didn't
to all
go to
them. Yeah, big ups to all them. Steady B, Cool C. People don't mention them enough. That's
because they've had trouble. But shout out to Steady B. Shout out to Cool C.
But I'm talking as far as their contributions to hip hop is what I'm talking about.
Life.
I know they, they went a little left, but as far as their contribution to hip hop, that's what I'm talking about.
And even going deeper, that Steady B's uncle Lawrence Goodman and Pop Art, Lawrence and Dana Goodman. If it weren't for them, there'd be no Fresh Prince and Jazzy Jeff. There'd be no Crush. The Cold Chillin'. A lot of people don't know that. They went to Pop Art. So you remember Roxanne Shante?
Yeah.
Roxanne Revenge. She said, and then I got a call from Pop Art. That actually is Lawrence Goodman, Pop Art Records in Philadelphia.
That's correct.
So put out the Dougie Fresh and Slick Rick. The show originally was on the Showstoppers with Salt and Pepper. Right. Yeah. They were put out on Pop Art earlier.
A lot of the Queens people were put out there. And shout out to our guy, shout out DJ Wiz, which is the original DJ for Kid and Play. And, oh, God, I forgot my guy. Sakba say to my guy. He was the guy that helped out find Salt and Pepper and all them. And you're correct. Most of them were under Philly Pop Art. So shout out to Philly.
At one time, I mean, I would say this, that when I think the Showstoppers got put on before Kid and Play.
Yeah,
because
it was
dating Herbie, right?
Herbie, that's what it is, Herbie.
Yeah, Herbie was dating Salt from Salt and Pepper, and they were all in the same crew. But it was said that after Salt and Pepper did their thing, that they were going to grab Kid and Play next. They were next up.
Right, but see, that's the thing. So they was the Showstoppers on Pop Art.
Okay.
But by the time he went back and he got the whole collective with Kid and Play and all of them, that was when he had his deal with, was it Next Plateau?
Yeah.
And then
yes.
RCA?
Next Plateau.
Yes.
Next Plateau and then RCA. So I love to hear these stories because Kwame is one of my good friends, and we know that Kwame was actually down with 3 Times Dope for a minute, right? And Larry and all of them. So that's how I met like Kwame when he was like 16, 17.
Yeah, big ups to all them, say EST, the whole 3 Times Dope, another legendary group that doesn't get enough due.
The illest Gumby hairstyle ever, still. The illest.
Yeah,
and so what Kwame says is that it was like 2 crews in Queens. This before Queensbridge really was doing anything. It was like the Russ, like rolling with Russ. Either he was down with Russell,
Russ Management,
or he was down with like Herbie and them.
Right.
That was that. Of course, Queensbridge had their whole other thing going on, but on that side of Queens, if you don't know Queens, it is really one side versus another side. On that side, it really was Russell and all of them.
Yeah.
And Russell was actually managing Tribe Called Quest.
Yes.
And, all of that.
Yes.
And then over here,
Rakim.
you had Herbie and them. So I know you guys ain't even ask me no questions. I'm just
it's all good. It's all good.
Right now, that's a part of history that people need to know. So sometimes, even as the people that's supposed to be interviewing you, sometimes we just shut up and let you keep and let you go because you're flowing right now.
Exactly,
you're flowing.
Exactly.
You're rhyming
right now.
For real.
Yeah, it really hip hop. I always say this. I was born a month and a week after hip hop. Born September the 18th, 1973. And so all I know is this. I remember being in kindergarten to first grade. And if you were quiet in the lunchroom, they would play Rapper's Delight. Like that's the history I come from. My sisters used to come to New York and they used to get the mixtapes. So even in Philly, I got to know what Funky 4+1. I knew the sequence. I knew that the sequence actually wrote the rhymes for the Sugar Hill Gang. You know what I'm saying? Like, so somehow all of those things kind of got spilled into my world, even as like, by the time I was like 10, 11, 12, that's all I wanted to hear. That's all I wanted to be a part of.
And shout out to Grandmaster Caz, because a lot of people don't know that was his rhyme book. And the guy was supposed to be his manager. And he took it and said, that's my rhyme. It's like, what? That's why if you listen to him, I'm the CAS, the NOV. He's talking about Grandmaster Caz, Casanova. That's his actually rhyme book.
But this is the thing. He really didn't steal his rhyme book. What he did, like, Caz gave him the book. So I'm also, I don't know, I'm on the board of the Hip Hop Museum in the Bronx. I'm in charge of. I'm one of the people that leads the Artist Relations Committee. So we have Mark Green, who is a renowned booking agent from back in the day and still doing his thing.
Shout out to Rocky.
Faith Newman. Yeah, shout out to Rocky. Faith Newman is the co-lead for the Artist Committee. She actually discovered Nas.
That's the Faith Newman that I was gonna say. That's the one who used to work at Def Jam, right?
Def Jam in Columbia. She's went to Columbia to, and shout out to Faith because she's from Philly also. She's from Philly too. And so Caz actually gave the book to Homeboy. And when he gave the book, he didn't expect him to record the rhyme. He just thought he was going to maybe say the rhyme or do something. But nobody, at the time, nothing was recorded. Except for maybe on a mixtape or something, like little tapes, the tapes that they spread around. But he was like, he didn't see the value in it. So he gave it to him. It wasn't no big deal. He had plenty of rhyme books. But it wasn't until, shout out to Sylvia Robinson with her brilliant self, once she put that out there and it was on the radio, because she had those radio connections. She knew Frankie Crockett from when she was doing Pillow Talk. She was in an R&B group from the 60s, right? Come on. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, but when she had those relationships, she took what the street kids was doing and blew it up. And that's when Caz was like, wait a second, those are my rhymes. Right. Yeah, but you didn't value them. And that's one of the lessons we've learned. We should keep learning it as Black people as a whole, but hip hop is particularly. We give stuff away too easily. We are always giving our intellectual property away. We do a dance, we done with it in a month. Somebody else pick it up and go to Europe, and then it's everything. And they get paid off of it. They go to Asia, they get paid off of it. It's a billion-dollar world culture, the largest influence outside of Jesus.
No question. It's Thermal Sound Waves, a natural alternative to fast food radio. We hear C.Truth, Kev Lawrence, talking to our special guest, journalist, writer, historian, documentarian, Miss Nikki Duncan Smith. Now, where did writing come in for you and your whole passion for that? Where did that start for you?
I think that I was born as a writer. My mom, when we was little, to occupy our time, she would have us writing stories, writing all kinds of things, writing poetry, drawing. So I'm like I do artwork. I write. I act. I do all kinds of things, right? And so for me, writing was so easy to me that when I went to college, I actually majored in sociology. You know what I'm saying? And I majored in sociology because I was like, writing is too easy. Why would I be an English major? That's what I do. I don't need to learn how to write more. And so when I graduated and I moved to LA to work for MTV, Rock the Vote, they got me to write all of the. Wow. You ever remember those early Rock the Vote commercials when they first started doing, like the LL Cool J one, the Method Man one? I wrote all of those. Those were They had the little girl in the corner writing those scripts. And in fact, the Chuck D one I wrote and the Monica one I wrote, the one where Monica is like, I can't vote because I'm 15, but why can't you? Why aren't you? Right? All of those were so Bill Duke actually tried to get me on his staff.
Wow! Whoa! Bill Duke,
legendary man in entertainment and film, cinema. Bill Duke, actor, writer, director. Bill Duke, and producer. Bill Duke.
But this is the thing: I was too young and dumb to care. I was like, I want to do that. I'm good. So imagine me.
Yo, we're laughing right here. I'm sorry, I had to laugh at that because that's real. That was real.
It's true. Kid. I mean, I'm 22, 23. One of my best friends was Lauryn Hill, and we in the Fugees. Is that? You know what I'm saying? Like Will Smith, the Fresh Prince show was popping. You know what I'm saying? Like
you was on some stuff. You was like, listen, you know who this is.
And I'm in LA.
I'm Nikki Duncan Smith.
I'm in LA. Pac is still California loving. This is 96, 97. Like, I'm not thinking about writing for Bill Deuce because in my mind, he was the guy from Car Wash.
Right.
And that's dope. I'm sitting here, but I mean, come on. Right. But that was me too young to recognize it. I remember he asked me to do something. I just didn't do it.
Gotcha.
I went to a party instead.
Gotcha. She had her Air Max 95s on, so she didn't care.
Another lesson in hip hop: know the elders and respect the elders.
Absolutely,
right?
Absolutely.
Because I didn't figure in my head that he was hip hop connected, that he was in tune with the culture. I was like, nah, I'm good. He want to be popping because of me.
He's in Busta Rhymes video for Dangerous.
How arrogant and young,
So it was you live and you learn.
Question out for you.
No, I lived and I learned. But at the end of the day, that's a lesson that I can pass on to someone else. I work with young people all the time, and they don't get it sometimes, particularly now because social media gives us a false illusion of knowing the history. Because somebody will say something, they swear, like somebody be like, "Yeah, I know that Puffy did this, that, and the other." You don't know what Puffy did. You weren't there.
Oh, please.
You hearing something that you heard someone else said.
Yeah. That's why we don't even ask you questions about it. We don't even ask questions about it.
But the thing is, sometimes we might need to ask the questions to the right people, and so these young people, particularly in journalism, because most people don't enjoy writing, but they do like the fast click things. So everything, if you read hip hop journalism, it really is like reading a Instagram post.
Now, this is where I want to go with this right now. What is the difference when you would tell somebody you're a writer from journalism and being a blogger?
I say, and I don't really know because let me talk my stuff. I feel like I paid enough dues that I don't really care about those titles. I'm an archivist of the culture. You know what I'm saying? So I can consider myself a journalist because that's what it is. A blogger, I think there are bloggers that do really good work. I believe that when blogging first started, it was people who started writing independently and were not connected to a major news outlet or magazine or online publication or something like that. So the blog, they were able to use a blog to get their stuff out, right? And so now the major news outlets are kind of the same level as a blogger, because a blogger is just somebody who writes on the blog platform, and that is really just a term for the back, how you set your website up. You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
So if you're a blogger, in my mind, you are independent and you kind of, did your own thing because you might not have wanted to conform to somebody else's writing, style on their website. Like, I don't want to write like Bot. I don't want to write like BT.com. I want to do my own thing. But nowadays, some blogs are as big as websites. You know what I'm saying? So as big as Complex, as big as Source. Like, you'll go to that for your information. I think that sometimes blogs might have just as much, might be so grassroots. They might know the information more than the loops and hoops you got to jump through to get stuff on a major platform. Now, I would say not everybody who's at a major platform and not everybody that blogs are great writers or care enough about the culture. They like to be famous, right? Mm-hmm. And so because they like to be famous, they say things that, and they create really disposable content, but that content gives you a lot of shock value, right? But I wouldn't say that those are only bloggers that do that. I know journalists that do it too, right?
Gotcha.
So, it's really the vibration the person is on.
No question. So tell us about the work that you've done with Blockheads, which is in the comic world, correct?
Yes. So my college friend, Brandon Schultz, shout out to Brandon Schultz. His father is Michael Schultz. Michael Schultz did Cooley High. Gotcha. He did Last Dragon. He did Crush Groove. He did.
I actually just saw Last Dragon for I don't know how many of time. Like, I watch classic movies all the time. Like, that's one of my things.
Oh, anyway. I was about to say, you just saw it, or you just saw it for the first time?
No. I watch movies like that all the time. Like.
Okay. I was about to say, you didn't know who Bruce Leroy was?
No. Those are rotation.
Brandon had Brandon and these guys called the Mad Twins. Mad Twins, I want to say, were just nominated for an Emmy and might have been up for an Oscar. They're animators. They actually worked on Boondocks also. They came up with this concept of cartoons, these characters that battle raps. Their superpowers were their rhymes, right? So you had one guy let's just say this guy's like Nas, right? And the other guy's like a DMX, right? And the DMX character, even though we know that Earl was a really positive person, this DMX character was like demonic, right? And so Nas's character lives in this projects, kind of like QB, and his goal was to use his words to enlighten people and to save them from the shadow dwellers, the street sweepers. That's what they were called. So they were like zombies that come from listening to this negative music, right? So it was this war against evil and good, and then there was a love story in it, and then we had a crew and all these other things. So Brandon introduced me to the twins, and the four of us started they originally just wanted to do an animated film. I was already working with Marvel on some stuff with Def Jam, because at the time I was working for Russell Simmons, and we were trying to do some stuff. Danny Simmons, Russell Simmons' brother, really was in the comic book, so Marvel was interested in doing some stuff with us. This is early before Marvel. This is like 2000, so Marvel didn't have a lot of movies yet. Right?
Shout out to Lord Nez. I know he was around it also working.
Lord Nez is my brother, my little brother.
Shout out to Lord Nez.
I remember when we met him on MTV. How about that? Like,
wow.
Russell met during an MTV event, right? But anyway, so I convinced them to do from the cartoon, only do the cartoon, and I was doing casting, like getting the artists to be the voices for this cartoon to do in the comic book, because what I understood from working with Marvel is that comic books become research for these films. How well these comic books do in a store, that's the storyline that we're going to use for the film. So I was like, let's do some comic books and see. So we shifted the business plan from an animation to comic books. We started doing that. We wound up linking with Imagine. And while the predominant writer was Brandon Schultz, I came up with ideas and I did the poetry. So some of the rhymes were written by Alibaba. I don't remember him. And I wrote some of the girls' rhymes. The girl that was the girlfriend, her name was Essence. And then we wound up getting a graphic novel through Simon & Schuster.
Wow.
And then we got to deal with Great Gatorade. And if you go on YouTube, you can see a through line story of our character Black, his love interest Essence, and their friends.
Wow, beautiful.
Like Bobito, I want to say Bobito is playing a Puerto Rican kid. Talib Kweli winds up playing. We were trying to get it's really cool. When you see it, you'll really love it. And so one of the great things is this is a hip hop moment, like we print up like 1,000 of these comic books, and we're trying to like get the story out, right? And so I tell Russell, by this time I'm not working for Russell anymore, but I tell him I got comic books, and he was like, "All right, I'm gonna buy 1,000 of them from you." He bought 1,000 of them, gave them away for free. CNN saw him giving them away, and then we got all this press on CNN over this. So
beautiful.
Yeah. So
listen, we're just about out of time, but we're going to have you come back because there's so much more we need to get to with you. And I know there's a wealth of knowledge that you have, just given your history and given the things that you're involved in now. So we're going to have you come back on the program, but we appreciate you taking time out to join us, you know what I'm saying, for this particular show. Miss Nikki Duncan Smith here with us. Let everybody know, like, if there's a website you have or your socials that people can see more of your work and the things that you're doing.
Your services.
Sure. I'm a humble servant, right? I'm Nikki Duncan Smith on Instagram. I don't have a website. I don't do any of that stuff. However, every Sunday around 2:00, maybe 5:00 sometimes, but mostly 2:00, I have a ministry at the Hip Hop Museum on their Instagram called the Sunday School Dropout, where I actually minister to people of the hip hop community, 65 and under, who don't necessarily fit into organized church. And so I believe this hip hop is a spiritual form of expression, and that if you take whatever faith doctrine that you hold to and you view it or understand it, you filter it through a hip hop lens, you can be a lot more accepting of others and kind of follow the rules that all these doctrines kind of try and push you to embrace. And so if there's any other words, shout out to all the women. Shout out to Breonna Taylor, because we still miss you, baby girl.
Say her name.
We still want to be saying your name. And all those people who've been killed or victims of police violence. And I love hip hop with all my life. And blessings to all of you guys. And that's it.
Thank you.
Blessings to you.
We appreciate you so much. And we're going to talk to you soon.
Shout out to Philly. What up, Tiffany Elsie?
Shout out to Philly.
Oh, God, it came out.
And raised.
Yes, indeed. That's Philly for you. It's Thermal Sound Waves, a natural alternative to fast food radio. We here, C.Truth, Kev Lawrence.
Thermal Sound Wave.